Hey everybody out there in YouTube land, it's Kevin and Frank from Cruising with Wheels, and guess what? We are back from the NCL escape, right,
That's
Frank?
right. And today's video is our final thoughts on the NCL escape, bringing it to you on all the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Like we said in the intro, this is our final thoughts video on the NCL escape cruise. It happened in 2019, and it was special because
It was our first New England, Canada cruise, which was nice to go in September.
it was a great cruise. It was very different cruising in September and different cruising Canada, New England.
I know, everybody expected the weather to be cold,
But it was nice.
but it was
nice out.
absolutely wonderful. Yeah, temperatures were great.
So let's go down the list. Let's start out talking about the ship. What did you think of the ship?
Well, the ship was pretty much very similar to the Getaway and the Bliss. And in fact, our cabin, and we had an inside handicap accessible cabin, was almost identical to the Bliss in terms of decor.
Pretty much.
Yeah, so if you've been watching the vlogs, you'll think, wasn't that the cabin they had on the Bliss?
Now, the ship had 2 elevator banks, and they were all right.
Yeah,
They were relatively, quick.
right, forward and aft. So that wasn't too bad. Our cabin was located, though, kind of in an what would you say that alternate main hallway. We weren't on the main drag of. We were in a secondary hallway.
A secondary
Thank you.
hallway.
That's the word
it's
I was.
better than alternate.
I was like alternate
hallway.
universe. No, not alternate universe. Yeah, we were in a secondary hallway.
And that was pretty much the same as the Bliss, because the Bliss we were in a
Yes.
secondary hallway
Yeah.
as well. Now, as far as our mobility challenged viewers, there are 20 decks, and almost all the decks you can access via an elevator, with the exception of the deck where the ropes course is.
Right, but luckily and thankfully, they had an electric chair lift.
That will take you up.
Right, to get you up there. So yeah.
Now, you are probably all saying, if you're not mobility challenged, why would a wheelchair user want to get up on that deck?
Well, I want to go up there and see you do the ropes.
Well, that's one reason, right? But if you're in a wheelchair, you can't do the ropes course. But underneath the ropes course, directly underneath, is the miniature golf, and that is accessible. And so that would be a great reason to get up on that deck and be by the ropes course.
Right. Yeah. It was. I was very happy to see that.
We felt like everything was pretty accessible. It was very interesting. It was an interesting crowd. Everybody was pleasant, for the most part.
Yeah, for the most part.
For the most part. Let's talk a little bit about Embarkation.
Oh, well, first of all, let's start by saying that we were up at 2 a.m. in the morning. Okay, let's just get that out. People had commented on the vlogs, wow, Frank seemed kind of tired and not too, excited. Well, we were up at 2 a.m.
We were at the airport by 4 p.m.
Yes.
And our flight
was a typical.
left at 6 a.m.
Right, it was a typical, let's leave Rochester, New York at 6 a.m. and get to JFK in New York City.
Right.
It's a quick 45-minute flight, so we do fly in the same day.
Now, that is only because it leaves from New York City.
Right.
That is the only reason. If we are not able to drive within, what do we say, like 6 hours? Like a 6-hour drive, maybe, 7-hour drive, because of the flights.
Right.
If the flight gets canceled.
Oh, God.
If we're not able to drive there, then, we're not going to fly in the same day. That's just in case of an emergency, right?
Right.
Now, we arrived at the port at 9:15 a.m.
Yeah, and it's funny because we got there, and normally there is priority handicap wheelchair accessible check-in. And so when we arrived in the port, after we gave the outside porters our luggage, and of course slipped him a few bits of money there. Please get our luggage on the ship. We rolled into the terminal, and the agents are standing, they're everywhere. And we said, is there a priority handicap accessible check-in line? And the lady was like, no, get in the line with everybody else. And so we kind of looked at each other like,
now,
that didn't seem right.
I want to preface all this because there are some subscribers that are going to think that when you say priority wheelchair that we're being snooty, and it's because of our status on the line. It is not because of our status on the line.
Right.
It is because when you have a wheelchair, it's very difficult to go through that whole spirally line.
So they have
a separate
an expedited special line for anyone in a wheelchair or scooter or whatever, mobility issues. And so she was like, no. And so she went like that, and there was the entire massive line of people snaked through all the ropes. And so Kevin's like pushing me in this maze. And we were in the line for about not even 30 seconds when another agent walked over and said, no, you don't belong here. We have an expedited
and I said, I know.
handicap accessible line for you. And he undid the rope, and we were like, yeah, we know, but Crazy over here was like, no, you're like anybody else.
So anyways, we were checked in for the cruise by 9:45, and we were sitting in the waiting area by 10.
Right. They roll you into a separate handicap accessory waiting area. And again, it wasn't an enclosed room. It was just a roped off section near the doors where you would go outside and then access the gangway onto the ship.
Now, we were in the waiting area between 10 and 11 a.m., and we met quite a few subscribers.
Gosh, yes.
I will insert some pictures here of who we met along the way, and we also boarded with D&G Explorers, Derek and Gregory.
Right. And they were traveling with Derek's mom, Valerie, but we met a lot of people. We met Chris and Jennifer Griffin, Cheryl Corrales and her husband showed up real quick. But yeah, so many people that you're going to see in an upcoming. I think you've already seen the video on who we met. So yeah, that was exciting.
So after we met all those wonderful subscribers and people that know us, because it was crazy, we entered the ship through the casino, which was a little odd.
I guess, but hey,
I mean, we've never done that before.
I want you to spend money.
Well, the casino's not open.
Yeah, but just the thought.
And then we went to see.
Well, right, because it was the big decision once you got on board was, okay, where are we going to go eat? So yeah, we went to Savor. We didn't.
It was very good. That was unusual for us.
Yeah, we normally go to Oceans, and we decided not to. We decided to go to Savor, and the food was okay.
Yeah, it was good.
What'd you say?
Yeah.
I had the chicken nachos, and you had some hummus.
Oh,
which looked
really
good. It looked
like
good,
hummus.
and I kind of was like, oh, I wish I had that.
Hummus and pepperonata.
Yeah, and I had a classic cheeseburger, and Kevin.
Here's our little food diary over here.
And Kevin, of course, had the fried chicken on the menu. But yeah, it was.
It's very good.
Yeah, I'd give it a. I'd give it a 6-7.
You give it a 6-7. Well, normally we do like 1 through 5.
Oh, okay. I was doing a 1 through 10.
We do a 1 through 5. We were going to start doing wheels. See, you got right here 1 through 5 rating on the top.
I love our rating system.
We keep changing it.
Oh my God, we got rating 1,
which is crap.
Crap. Rating number 2, meh. Rating number 3, good. Number 4 was delicious, and number 5 was awesome.
So let's move on to the cabin.
Right.
Because everybody always is curious about the cabin. And we kind of felt like it had the same feel. It was almost identical.
It was.
To the NCL Bliss that we were on.
Yeah,
it was
the core was pretty. You would look at the two cabin tours you did from the Bliss.
They look identical.
Yeah, pretty much identical.
So the difference was our cabin steward was Ali, and he was great. We were in a standard accessible interior cabin.
Right.
So we had no window, no balcony, no nothing, no
Right.
frills.
Right.
But it was really nice. We were in the cabin by 1:45.
Yes, they they made the announcement, and of course the doors were open to the hallways, and everybody was like, "Woohoo! Let's get in the cabin."
Now there was tons of closet space and drawers. Like we said, it was very similar
Yeah.
to the Bliss. It was down a secondary hallway, but not anything that you would be afraid of getting lost.
Right.
at.
No, we got off the elevators and we went to our side of the ship, went down a hallway, and at a certain point made the turn and went up, and our cabin was right there on the corner.
They did have the automatic door openers,
Yes.
which was great. Except NCL, for God's sake, please start putting the automatic door openers onto the bathroom as well. It would make life so much easier for all of us mobility challenged. And it was nice because it was farther away from the elevators than the Bliss.
Right, because in the Bliss we were right there. So again, you get that foot traffic and a little bit more noise. So yeah.
So now we've told you all the likes we had about the cabin. Let's talk about the dislikes, which really were none, right?
No, I didn't have any issues in terms of dislikes
Yeah.
with the cabin because it was like reliving the Bliss.
Right. The only issue that I found with the cabin itself was that it didn't have any bathrobes. I am a bathrobe person.
Well, you were reading up and it said included were bathrobes. And-
But technically an NCL and an interior in Ocean View
Right.
cabin. Interior and Ocean View, you do not get
Right.
bathrobes. But there was that stupid thing in the room that said, compliment,
Yeah.
here's your bathrobe. But so I
Like,
simply...
like, where's my bathrobe?
I asked Ali, and he was like, no problem, and he had them there that afternoon.
And I'm like, no, don't look at me. I don't wear bathrobes. Sorry.
Now, let's talk about what we didn't like about the cruise. This was a major issue with me,
Yeah.
and that was mustard drill.
Right. We can say that. Can I say this on air when I say mustard drill was a major shit show?
Yes, it was a shit
It
show.
was a total shit show. And, 3:30 muster drill. And we started heading down early because you got to get an elevator. It was held in the theater for
Right.
us.
It was held in the theater for everybody, and that was the problem.
It was seemed to be held everywhere because, and that'll be part of a Tales from the High Seas story.
Wow.
Really kind of weird.
Yeah, it was a little bizarre. The hallways were loaded with luggage, and it was really hard to get down,
Yes.
get to
To an elevator.
an elevator. So that was issue one. We've never really
Yeah.
encountered that.
Again, typical embarkation day. Luggage is being delivered, but at 3:30 you got to show up for muster. So
Right, but we've never really encountered that issue at muster drill time. They haven't usually started
Yeah.
to deliver, or usually people are like pulling them into their
so
cabins.
Maybe they were too busy drinking. I don't know.
The elevators were a complete nightmare,
Oh my
like you
God,
said.
we missed like 4 or 5 elevators. They were just open, loaded with people, loaded with people, loaded with people, loaded with people. At one point he was like, "I'm done. Let's just skip muster." And I was like, we can't do that.
And I've never said that, but
But
I
it was-
figured we would just check in with somebody.
It was so frustrating because it was just loaded, 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 and it's like that's the only way that we could get to the theater.
Yeah, it was a big problem.
Yeah.
So if you're going to be on the escape, I would really say if they continue to do muster drill like this, you need to leave earlier than 3:15 to
Oh,
get an
gosh,
elevator
yes.
for muster. And like Frank said, when we got to the theater, it was a shit show.
It was a mess.
Total
And
chaos.
Nothing was organized. The crew had their little signs. I think we were, A6 or whatever our number was.
I don't know.
And they were holding the green signs. Now, our
Now,
guy...
I don't know what would have happened because we were told A6 is down there.
All the way down near the stage.
Right, go down there and sign in. And I'm like,
Frank, just roll your wheelchair down the stairs to get to your crew member at the stage and give them your card and check it.
I, of course, took the card down. But my point is, if you were by yourself,
Right.
how the hell would you do that? You
Right.
wouldn't be able to. So,
And nobody knew where to go, where to stand, where to sit. Wheelchairs and scooters were
There was
everywhere.
really
And there were 2 wheelchair corral areas on each side of the theater
and I refused to go in
for
them.
the show. No, they were just packed.
They were packed, and I didn't want to get stuck
Oh,
there.
absolutely, yeah.
And actually, halfway through the muster drill, which nobody was paying attention to,
Yeah.
which kind of happens often, except it was really loud and people walking everywhere.
Walking and talking and screaming and yelling. Nobody was
laughing
paying
and hooting
attention
and hollering.
to anything.
I said, let's go. And
Well-
Frank was like, no, we can't.
actually moved to the other side.
Yeah, because I couldn't handle
Right, which actually was
I couldn't handle
which
the noise.
was actually a little quieter, but then we were like, let's just go. So we headed out, and what we saw, I will tell you in a Tales from a High Seas.
But we were back to the cabin
That's
by
right.
4:15.
We surely were, thank the good Lord.
Now, I want to get to one of my favorite parts of our Final Thoughts video, and that would be what we thought of the restaurants and the food. So we have to pull out our food diary,
Oh, yes.
and
I
we're
have it
going to
right
go
here.
one by one. So, Frank, why don't you handle the food diary,
Okay.
and I'll handle which restaurant we're going to talk about.
Okay.
You can find it, okay?
Okay.
So the first that we have on our list was Cagney's, okay? Now, Cagney's is a specialty venue, so there is a fee for Cagney's.
Right.
However, when you're Platinum Plus or Platinum or higher, you get to choose that as a free meal. So we chose it as a free meal, so we didn't have
Right.
to pay for it. And we thought the food was
yes.
amazing. I have to say that it was the best Cagney's we have
Yes.
ever had, hands
Yeah,
down.
it was absolutely succulent.
Hands down.
Yes.
Now, before I get too far into this, if you haven't seen any of our, if you haven't seen the food video we put together, you can see the link above.
Right.
Right? So, anyways, what did I have?
Well, now
let's go down the list.
Now, Kevin had an appetizer which we had not seen, and it was new to their menu, the thick cut bacon. And it was in the food video, and it had what, cream spinach in the center?
Yeah, it was some kind of spinach thing.
Yeah.
It was really good.
It was. I had a little taste. Thank you.
Really, really good.
And then you had the traditional Caesar salad, 12-ounce strip steak, which onion rings, of course you would, and then of course for dessert, the OMG caramel butterscotch cheesecake.
Now, Frank had his usual lump crab cake, traditional Caesar salad,
But as
slow roasted prime rib,
which I usually never order. And I thought, I want the
right?
prime rib.
and it was like
Butter!
butter. And he had potatoes au gratin, and also had the OMG caramel butterscotch
That was
cheesecake.
just delicious.
Now, I have to tell you a small little hint. We were running late for a
Yeah.
show that night, and you can actually have your dessert sent to your room, so that's what we
Right.
did.
Now, this, again, was a specialty restaurant. We were late getting to the show.
That's the only way you can have your
Right.
dessert
If you're in the complimentary main dining room or whatever, or the buffet or at O'Sheens,
They ain't gonna send
they're
nothing
not
to your
going to
room.
send it to your room. So people kept asking us questions during, commenting on all these videos. I didn't know that. Specialty restaurant, not an issue. We've done it on other ships.
We've done it on other ships.
In
we've done
specialty
it on-
restaurants.
And we've done it on other cruise lines.
Yes. So
So the next venue that we went
Where'd we
to
go?
was Food Republic. Now, I will
yes.
have to tell you, this was our first time at Food
Yeah.
Republic. We thought it was a great experience. Now, this is the specialty venue where you can, where you order on an iPad.
right. Every table has an iPad. And of course, you've watched the videos. I did a tutorial on how to use it. If I can use it, anybody can use it.
Now, everything at Food Republic is considered a la carte. So be mindful of that. So you're paying for each individual item.
Right.
And it works a little bit differently with the dining package, which we used for
Right. And if I
it.
remember correctly, you're allowed 4 items.
You're allowed 4 items and dessert, I believe.
So, yeah.
I have to say that...
Your opinion? Go.
Well, I loved it. It was a great experience. We had a great night that night.
Well, yeah.
We hung out. We opened up Food Republic at like 5 o'clock, right?
Our normal 5:30 time.
And our friends Chris and Jennifer were there, and they ended up coming over after they were done with their dinner, and we sat there until 10 o'clock at night
To
talking.
close the place. Oh my God, it was crazy.
So thank you, Chris and Jen,
That
for
was great.
making our experience so wonderful.
Yeah.
But I have to say, although the food was good, I thought it was expensive. Personally for me, because I would have liked a whole lot more food for what we paid.
Now the bill ended up being like about $46 for the two of us. I have to tell you, in my opinion, again, I agree. It was an experience to eat at Food Republic. We've
I'm glad
never
we
done
did
it.
it.
We did it, but
We won't do it
I
again.
think for me, the food was a little too global and frou-frou-y for me.
See, I don't think for me it was too frou-frou-y.
I was very disappointed. I did not like the baklava for dessert. Did not like the coconut mochi. And if I don't like the dessert, you're dead to me.
I thought the chicken teriyaki was really, really good.
But all you got was a platter with.
I thought the pork belly dumplings were excellent, but that's why I said it was so little for the amount of food that you got for what we paid that I almost felt a little cheated. And I think that we wouldn't have had such a good time at this restaurant had it not been for Chris and Jennifer.
Exactly. We would have left going, wow.
Is that it? Let's go to the buffet.
Exactly, because when you order the chicken teriyaki,
you get 2 little spears.
That's it. And that's $10. And then we had the Peruvian beef skewers, which were what? 3 skewers?
I thought those were really good.
They were good. That was $11, but again, it came on a little platter with a few skewers. That's it. So if you're used to having your plate with the meat and potato, and the salad and the appetizer, this is not what you're going to get at Food Republic.
Right.
It's very international. It's global. It's a little frou-frou-y. And then when the dessert came, and I was like, baklava, I was like, all right. Didn't like it.
I have to tell you, though, that this is the place to get sushi.
Yeah.
Okay? So if you are a sushi lover, we had spoken to quite a few people that said this is the best place to get sushi. We don't eat sushi, but we heard it over and over and over again.
Like a big old sushi bar.
Big old sushi bar and big portions for the sushi. So take it into consideration. Take it or leave it.
Yeah, but I'm glad we did it. Wouldn't do it again.
Let's talk about the ever controversial La Cucina. We have had a lot of issues back and forth with La Cucina, where one time we have a great meal, the next time we don't have a good meal. Now, on this particular sailing, it was excellent.
It was.
food.
We ate al fresco outside on the waterfront. Ashton was our waiter.
He was so cute, I want to pinch him.
I know, and it was just us, and there was another couple at the end, but they were, the two ladies, they were just drinking their wine, but we were right there. Nobody wanted to come outside and eat, and I'm so glad we did because it was a beautiful night.
Now, I want to tell everyone that any appetizer can be made into an entree, and any entree can be made into an appetizer.
Right.
So it all depends on
Reduce
what
it
you want.
or enlarge it.
Right.
They'll do it.
And there is an upcharge to make that appetizer an entree, but it's very nominal. And they do decrease the price if you make an entree into an appetizer, but it's a way that you can kind of make the meal for yourself.
Right.
And the reason I'm saying that is because normally
People don't know that.
people don't know that. And also, I got the gnocchi di patate al pesto, which is potato gnocchi with pesto sauce. And normally I don't get that, the pesto sauce. Normally I get, I have them put a pomodoro sauce on.
A red sauce.
A red sauce. And people don't realize that that's an option too.
Exactly.
So
Whatever sauce you want.
Right. So I would say ask if you go to these places and
Right.
you don't like something, but maybe you like the base of it. Like I love gnocchi, but I'm very picky about my pesto. This pesto would make you want to slap your mom.
I'm not a pesto person. Don't like it.
But this was excellent.
Yes, and I had the tortellini with the pomodoro, the red sauce, and it was delicious. We had the pasta fagioli sauce. Not the sauce, the soup.
The soup.
I got sauce on the brain because now I'm jonesing.
Pasta fagioli
soup.
was very good.
Yeah.
And then for dessert, You had
We switched it up.
Well, you had the torta di cioccolata e lampone,
Right.
and I had the torta di ricotta con crema al limone.
Right.
So I had the lemon cheesecake, in other words.
And we usually
and Frank
switch.
had the chocolate
Yeah,
tort.
usually I'm the lemon, he's the chocolate, but we were switching it up.
Delicious.
It was very different.
Very different. So be prepared when you go
Yeah.
to the different
So
restaurants within a fleet.
We were excited that it was so much better because we were disappointed on the Bliss.
Right. And what I was saying was be prepared when
Yeah.
you go on the fleet that if you've had La Cucina, let's say, on the Escape and you go on the Bliss, it might be a very different experience.
Or the
because
Getaway.
They have different ways of preparing and different, like the torta di ricotta con crema al limone is very different on
Yeah.
Escape than it was on Bliss.
So we were pleasantly surprised. It was a great experience eating outside al fresco. We had a great server.
Mm-hmm.
The food was awesome. We were delighted.
Now we dined at Manhattan Room.
Oh, yes.
Because I know everybody's saying specialty, specialty, specialty.
Right.
We did go to a complimentary venue.
Yeah, we did the main dining room.
We liked the Manhattan Room. It was great food. We had great service.
I was like, multiple entrees tonight.
And on one occasion, there was entertainment going on.
Right, the duo.
The duo, the Sunshine
Sunshine duo, husband and wife.
So check out our vlogs on that particular day. But I want to go to Maderno next.
Well, let's talk about what we ate.
Well, we ate at Manhattan Room a few times. So I didn't know if you wanted to go into what we had.
We did? I thought we were
I thought we did.
I don't think so.
Maybe not.
Oh, yeah, because we did. There were so many other places to go. But
on the reason I was focusing on the food with respect to specialties is those menus don't change. Manhattan Room, it changes all the time. So we can tell them what we had.
Yeah, I had stuffed mushroom caps with a southwestern smoked turkey salad, bacon-wrapped chicken breast was my entree, but then I ordered the Chinese-style barbecue pork entree as well.
So good.
And ended it with the Black Forest cake. Love it!
Now, I, of course, had the mozzarella and plum tomatoes. I get that every time. It's always fresh. It's always good, and I always love it. I also had the bruschetta.
Yeah, it looked really good.
The beef short rib ragu in red wine. And for dessert, I had the banana split, which I've never ordered before, and it was really good, actually. So let's move on to Maderno.
Yeah, we were impressed with service, food, and entertainment in the main dining room.
So let's move on to Maderno.
Yes, Maderno's.
So Maderno, we went for Derek's birthday, and the food was good.
It was Maderno food.
It was Maderno food. It's a Brazilian-style steakhouse where you get pieces of meat delivered throughout the meal.
Servers, they call gauchos, each one walks around with their specific meat, which is chicken. Get your mind out of the gutter. Which is chicken or lamb or sausages or beef or whatever. Each one has a different thing. Oh, the pineapple. Oh, the roasted pineapple with cinnamon to die for.
Now, they have a large salad bar there. It is delicious. It's the best salad that they have on the ship. And if you are a vegetarian, never fear because the cost would be reduced in half if you are a vegetarian. And you can go to the salad bar as many times as you want.
Right.
So we also ate at Taste and Savor, and we felt that the food was very good. And you know where we went that was different?
What?
That we've never been to is the Supper Club.
Well, that's right.
And why don't you explain that a little
Well,
bit?
yeah, Supper Club. It's dinner and a show.
So while you're eating, while they're serving you the different courses.
Right. I mean, the minute you get there is when they start bringing out, and it was how many? We had 1, 2, 3, 4. It was a five-course meal. Five-course meal. And again, we heard complaints about the Supper Club because for some people, again, it was a little too frou-frou-y.
Yeah, it was hoity-toity.
Very hoity-toity, frou-frou-y. And people, again, if they're used to a plate of, meat, potatoes, and a traditional dinner, it wasn't for them and they didn't like it.
So everything was pretty much done in a trio fashion or duo fashion. And so, for example, first course was a mushroom cappuccino
And
with a bacon
little
foam.
cup, pinky up.
With a mushroom cappuccino with a bacon foam duck
Relax.
Serrano ham croquette with
Piquillo, pepper, coulis.
but you only have two things there, but it was three things.
No, there were.
No, honey, there were three things in that, I thought. Because I remember seeing.
Well,
remember
maybe
the
that's
tray.
with. Maybe that's with the pepper coulis.
I
don't
know.
know. But again, you'll see a picture of me with a little tiny red cup. And that was a mushroom cappuccino.
So everything kind of came out like that.
And you got, and it was only like 10 minutes, 10, 15 minutes between courses. It was always boom, boom, boom.
But I thought it was good.
Yeah, the second course
was pretty good.
was a roasted baby beet salad with truffle pearls and ricotta lobster salad with caviar and creme fraiche. Again, little tiny portions, in a little tray dish. Again, very frou-frou-y.
Right. Third course was crispy chicken, crispy skin halibut with heirloom tomato confit.
Right. I got fish.
And the main course was grilled beef tenderloin with almond potato croquette, baby root vegetables, and fig
gastrique.
Whatever the hell that
so
is.
again, frou-frou-y.
I didn't eat that part. And then finally, dessert was, I think, another trio or a quattro.
It was a quattro.
It was quattro?
Yes,
It was a four-piece dessert. It was blackberry French macaroon, pistachio cream cake, dulce de leche rosetta, mango pot de creme,
with a raspberry coulis.
Meringue pieces.
Oh, that cake.
Opera cake.
Mocha and chocolate glaze.
It was. I thought it was good.
Again, it's an experience, and then.
And it's a set menu. That's it.
Yeah, there's no substitutions. You book it, and it's like you get there, and what they have is what you get. So if you get there and you're expecting prime rib, baked potato, and whatever, you're not getting it. So some people were disappointed.
Now, the thing that I was most disappointed about was that the bake shop and gelato area, every time we went to it, it was closed. Every time.
Was devastated.
Every day we tried,
and least.
Every day it was closed.
I know. What's up with that?
It may have been open. I don't know. We did go to Oceans, but we only went there for breakfast.
Right.
We highly recommend it. We always get the country platter.
Big old platter.
And we did the usual breakfast buffet and lunches at Garden Cafe.
Right. And a lot of the breakfast buffets Kevin brought to the room.
Yeah, on occasion.
Several days. It was run up, get what you can, bring it back, and then we'll get going.
Now, as far as the theater shows went, there were two kind of corral areas on each side for persons in wheelchairs and scooters.
Right.
And the nice touch that I liked is they had a chair. Which I don't think you have down here, but I just remember that.
Actually, when you walk, you can sit 6 people, whether wheelchair or chair, and they had these nice round
really nice chairs. It wasn't like some of the other places.
Wasn't a folding chair or whatever. It was a nice round, let's say, living room chair. There were 6 spots right there. And so if there are 6 wheelchairs, then they just move the chairs out of the way. But for us, it was wheelchair and chair, but only 6, and that's it.
Now, were there 6?
I think there were only 6. I'm just saying. Only
you keep
6.
saying 6, 6, 6.
And I'm like, wow, it's a big area, but you think about it, you can't because the people behind you, not going to be able to say.
So there were 2 main shows. The first that we saw was Choir of Men. It was great. It was really high energy.
Yeah.
It's kind of set in a pub
Right.
style.
Kind of like
they actually give you free beer
Right.
in the beginning of the show.
Derek and Gregory
can
were
get
down
down
there on stage, sitting at the tables, which were part of their set for the show, and everybody a lot of people got to drink the beer.
And it's kind of a
Irish
British,
pub, British,
Irish, UK setting pub. It's the show. The premise of the show is all these guys work or go to this pub,
They all
and
know
they
each
all
other.
sing contemporary
It's
songs.
kind of the British version of Cheers, but with lots of singing and dancing.
Yeah, British version of Cheers meets Glee.
Yeah, yeah.
Right? And the second show, it was After Midnight. I thought that show was phenomenal.
Oh, it was.
It was all singing and dancing from the 1930s.
Yep.
And I was a little upset hearing people say that they didn't like it. But it was kind of, it was advertised that it was 1930s music.
Right.
And for me, I was a music major. They had, they really showcased their voices and their dancing, and I just thought it was amazing.
I'm not a music major, and I loved it.
Right. Both shows were about an hour long, so we felt that they were the perfect length for a cruise because, let me tell you, some of these shows we've been to recently have been way too long to be on a cruise ship.
Yeah.
And of course, we already talked about the Supper Club.
Right.
But the show that was going on during that was Shirley Wilkins, right?
And she was one of the stars of
She's the lead.
Yeah, the lead of After Midnight.
After Midnight.
So she was the solo singer entertainment for the Supper Club show.
I do want to say that you cannot go to the Supper Club show unless you've purchased the Supper Club meal. So that is generally $29.95 per person. And like you said, food's out every 15 minutes.
Right.
So let's talk a little bit about ports.
Yep.
Because
let's go into port.
that is something that is different and unique specifically for this cruise. Now, we had said that we were in Canada, New England, and the first port that we visited was Portland, Maine. Now, a big concern that people have in a wheelchair is, did it dock or did it tender? So this particular port we docked at. There was a large ramp walkway up to the port, but it was fairly easy to traverse. We should do that on a t-shirt.
Right.
Traverse. There was a large visitor center where they had excursions, buses, and taxis, and all that information.
So if you had not booked an excursion via the cruise ship, in that center you could book excursions tours locally.
Now, we didn't really do a lot when we were in Portland. We got off the ship about 9 o'clock, and we were back on by 12:30.
Yeah.
We basically walked around. We did some shopping. We filmed. They have some neat souvenir tents
along the
on
walkway.
the main drag,
Right.
on the main sidewalk.
As you're going more further into town. And into town are all the shops. We went to Starbucks, free Wi-Fi, got some coffee, ran into a lot of friends.
Now, we did end up buying from one of those tents our Christmas ornament. As you all know, we buy a Christmas ornament in every stop, and we got that at Sea Air Sense. Excuse me, Sea Air Sense, and I'll have a link below for Sea Air Sense. I think she has a Etsy. I think she has an Etsy store. We did, like you said, go to Starbucks. We got free Wi-Fi with the purchase of coffee. And who did we meet?
Oh, we met Leah. Now, Leah.
Hi, Leah.
Hi, Leah. Now, Leah lives in Portland, and while we were in Starbucks on the laptop, we were, I believe, answering a message from Leah saying, I live in Portland, I work downtown. And so Kevin was like, oh, that's awesome. I can't, you're a local and you follow us and it's really great. And so he responded to her message. Within 10 minutes, Leah walks into Starbucks.
I don't even think it was 10 minutes. It was like she came out of the computer.
Right. She literally popped out of the computer. So we actually got to sit down and talk with her and meet her. And it was really, really fun.
Now, what I do want to let people know is that the streets are half pavement and half cobblestone, so that can be challenging for somebody in a scooter or a wheelchair. So just keep that in mind.
Cobblestones, bumpity, bumpity, bumpity. But
Now,
we figured Portland, Maine is really an excursion town.
Yes.
I mean, if you're not booked in an excursion to do something, there really isn't much in the way of once you get off. Because, again, tents along the walkway and then in the little downtown area, that is it.
Now, that being said, our friends Chris and Jennifer did rent bicycles in Portland, and they said they had a phenomenal time. So if you can ride a bike, then by all means, and it was affordable. Now, I will tell you that there was, in the port complex there, you could get an Uber, a Lyft, or an enterprise rental if you wanted to. And I will also say that there were people that were complaining about the lighthouse tour. Apparently, they visited 3 lighthouses. They were there 5 minutes at each stop, and it was $70 per person, so most people got a refund.
Yeah, they were very upset. In fact, we were sitting in the buffet area looking out the windows of the ship, and we could see the 3 lighthouses.
Right. He said, you want to go on the tour? There, there, there. That's pretty much what we saw.
And he's like, yeah, and we spent $140 for the both of us to drive around to lighthouses where we spent 5 minutes and then came back. And
so
we were
just
like,
be leery.
Yeah, a lot of people were very upset by that.
Anyways, the next stop was Bar Harbor, Maine. Unfortunately, Frank wasn't able to get off.
Right. Bar Harbor is a tender port for every cruise ship that visits because the waters are too shallow and they cannot build a dock where cruise ships could come in.
They can.
But they can't get there.
No, they can build the dock. This is one of the things I heard while I was on shore.
There's some skinny? You got the skinny.
So they can build a dock while they're on, for Bar Harbor, for cruise ships to dock at. But what they have to do is dredge out the bottom of the waters in the area so that they can create a canal route or whatever for the cruise ships. And Bar Harbor residents have voted it down because it's going to cost them money to do.
Well, sure. That's a lot of money, a lot of work.
But anyways, it's a tender port for everybody until further notice.
So I didn't get to go. I stayed in the cabin.
I got off the ship at 9 o'clock, and I was back on board by 1:30. Tendering was quick and easy. It took me about 10 minutes to get from the ship to shore once I was aboard the tender. I will tell you I was the last person on the tender, so you might have a longer wait when you're sitting on that tender. I literally was the last person they took.
Oh, gosh.
Thank you, Cherry.
Yeah, and then boom, off you go.
I would say that that Bar Harbor is more of an excursion port again. I enjoyed my time in Bar Harbor. It's a very quaint little town.
Yes, I was able to, obviously, like you, watch the videos that Kevin did. He did all the filming there. So I got to see it along with you, and it did look like a very cute, quaint little town.
I did a lot of shopping, but other than that, I pretty much didn't do anything except for go and snag some free Wi-Fi from a local cafe. It's called Trailhead Cafe, and I have to tell you, the coffee was amazing. For $1 more, you get an unlimited cup.
Oh, wow.
And I felt like they treated me at Trailhead like I was a local.
Oh, awesome.
It was like, hey, how you doing? Come on in, sit down. What do you want? We'll give you whatever you want, and it's so glad to see you again. I did meet up with Derek and Gregory.
Yep.
And we went to Ben and Bill's Emporium.
Those two crazy guys going after some lobster ice cream.
I'll just leave it at that. Yes, we did say lobster ice cream. Then I went to a really great shop. Really, really great shop. I have to say, if you are in Bar Harbor, Maine is a stop. And you collect Christmas ornaments.
Yeah.
You have to go to this store. Keep walking. Go
Right.
there.
Christmas vacation shop owned by a lovely woman called Ellen.
And Ellen and her husband own the shop. Her husband and I believe brother-in-law are lobster fishermen, trappers. And they actually make Christmas ornaments out of real lobster claws. It takes about 6 months to make one ornament. I thought they were very reasonable for what they are. You can get them in many varieties painted. I walked around the shop and I filmed. So if you want to check out that episode and see what that shop's all about, you can click the link above. We set our clocks ahead 1 hour that night because the time changes.
Yep, because we headed next to St. John, New Brunswick, Canada. And the ship did dock.
The ship did dock there.
Thank you.
We got off about 11 o'clock, and we were back on the ship by 5 p.m.
Right, and once you get off the ship, there's
we were there longer than that. In port longer than that.
Oh,
we went back because we were getting a little tired, but also the fog rolled in, remember? And we were like, we better get back.
No, the fog was next day in Halifax.
Oh, was that the next day?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, St. John's.
Sorry.
You got off the ship, and you went into this visitor center. Again, like escalators or elevators down to the visitor center, where again you can book local excursions, and then walk out the doors and head.
Oh no!
To the big white tent.
The fog was that day because
did I notate it?
No, you didn't. But we went through the 3 buildings with the skyways, and that's when
I
saw
a picture.
it. I took a picture.
Oh,
so
that's right.
Not to correct you, correcting me, but I'm going to correct you.
Okay. Yes, the walkway had a beautiful view of the ship. It was like the ship was right in town.
So you were talking about
the big white tent.
The big white tent, and there was multiple local vendors there.
Yeah.
You can get
the first place.
nuts.
The first place you walked that you saw was the fudge counter.
The fudge and nuts.
Yeah.
And there was a furrier there. There was lots of things there. We filmed and we shopped, and we went to Java Moose.
Java Moose, because we met up on the street with Gavin and Jamie from the UK.
I know.
They were on the cruise with us, and they said, Java Moose, go. And we went there, and we had great coffee, free Wi-Fi, did the usual. But then we went to, was it Market Square?
Right, Market
Which is this
Square.
big building complex.
And we went, you had to basically go through 3 buildings and a series of skyways or sky bridges.
Right.
And then you end up in City Market, which was our goal.
Yes, of course.
So I have the biggest tip I have to tell people for this, because you were being pushed, is follow the signs.
Oh, yeah.
There is signage above, and make sure you keep looking up and following.
Follow the signs, follow the arrows.
Because you'll end up in the wrong building.
Right, because, it's just multiple buildings,
It's
all
kind of
connected.
amazing.
You know, if you stand outside, you're thinking, oh, my God, it's like this huge block of buildings.
Now, at Market Square, they had tons of food.
Oh, yeah.
Clothing and souvenirs. And
everything.
We have to say we went to the legendary Uptown Donuts, and Frank had a maple fried cake.
I had that, very simple. I wanted it simple. You know, I don't like to get too messy when I'm out.
I had one of their specialty donuts.
Yes.
They're known for their specialty donuts. Mine was actually a Reese's Pieces and peanut butter cup donut. I thought they were reasonable. Yours was $2.50.
Mine was $2.50. His was elaborate.
Mine was $4.50. Keep in mind that it's Canadian.
Right. And here's Frank's notations. Weather was very, very foggy.
Right. Thank you.
I wrote it.
You wrote it. Then you're telling me it was Halifax.
I thought it was Halifax.
We do have to warn everybody that is in a wheelchair or a scooter or a walker or a cane that the sidewalks and streets are very, very hilly, very, very slanted.
Yeah.
Some cobblestone, some pavement.
And not only slanted this way, but slanted sideways, where you come out and if you're not here, it's slanted down. So
now
it's very hilly, very slanted.
You don't have the notation about the excursion, but I remember
Okay.
hearing everybody say that the walking tour was amazing.
Oh, okay.
I think it's like 2 or 3 hour walking tour, and it was that guy with the funny hat.
Oh,
and
yes,
the,
yes.
and the ruffled
Yes,
shirt,
yep.
and he was walking all around. But I will say that although 90%, I'd say although 80% of New Brunswick was very handicap accessible, there were areas that you wouldn't be able to go. Like
Yeah.
we wanted to go
The
to
museum.
Right, we wanted to go to the police museum, but you couldn't get into it.
It was
'cause
in a lower level,
downstairs.
so it was like a couple of stairs in. Couldn't see that. I would have
Little
loved
things like that.
Yeah, little things. But I want to say right here,
And the Jewish museum was closed.
Right.
We wanted to go to that.
everybody was so friendly. People couldn't wait to hold doors open for
Yes.
us. And even when we were trying to squeeze into Java Moose, they were like, I'm going to hold this door. I'm going to hold this door.
Do you want
Let's
me to
move."
pick them up?
Yeah.
I mean, it
Now,
was like-
if we were in New York, they would have slammed the doors and
would've
kept
said-
walking.
Yeah, they would say, get the hell out of my way.
Yeah.
So, anyways, moving on to the next stop was Halifax. Now, the ship docked, but I will say that it takes a while to get to Halifax from St. John, so we didn't dock until 1 p.m.
Yeah.
We were cleared for disembarkation
Yep.
at about 1:45.
Oh, goodness.
And it was a lazy morning for
It
us. So
was.
we ate breakfast really late.
Yeah.
That's why we went to O'Shea's that day. Country breakfast platter. I'm telling you, dudes.
Gotta do it.
You've got to do it. It's great. The port terminal shopping complex. We hung out for about 30 minutes there.
Yeah, we met
We
a
were
lot of
trying to-
people,
yeah.
took a lot of selfies, bought several Christmas ornaments. It's a really nice building, not a tent, but an actual structured building at the port. And then we decided to head downtown Halifax, which
What a
poor Kevin,
mistake.
I think it was like a 20-minute
20 to a half an hour.
yeah, pushing
walk.
me
Uphill.
uphill, mostly uphill. Again, very hilly into downtown Halifax. I think you probably lost 15 pounds just in that 20 to 30 minutes.
We did that because that was the closest Starbucks.
Right.
And we always know that Starbucks has always been good to us with free Wi-Fi as long as we
and
purchase
great coffee. So
coffee.
yeah, so we made it there, and we did our thing, and it was
And it was funny.
why
Well,
was
I
it
thought
fun?
it was hysterical because we
Why?
did all our stuff online that we
Right.
needed to do. And then it was like, oh my God, we got
Well,
to go back
he
now.
was like, we got to call for a ride. There is no way I can make this trek back to the ship. It's just not going to happen.
I'm
oh
going
my
to
God,
die.
I'm going to
My
die.
legs were burning.
And then we're like, well, let's get going.
Let's try
Let's
it.
try it. So we left Starbucks. We turned the corner, went to, and I swear it was like we were in another city because within 10 minutes we were back to the port.
Yeah, I think it was because everything was downhill.
Right.
And everything on the way there was uphill.
Yeah, and it was great because we got to the waterfront really, really fast. And I
Really
want to
fast.
say
Beautiful
that
views.
we loved Halifax.
Yes.
It reminded us of historical Cornhill area
Right.
here in Rochester.
Or
if we
Provincetown.
if we were to live in Canada, we would live in Halifax.
We would live in Halifax. Yes, we would.
Yes,
and
we
I would
would.
live near the waterfront.
Near the waterfront. So we got to the waterfront, which was really awesome. We did a lot of filming.
I felt very safe.
Yes, very
I felt
safe.
very, very safe because
Very local,
I've gotten a lot
neighborhood.
of questions about, people always think a waterfront is going to be seedy
Right.
and,
Oh, gosh, no.
unsafe. But I felt
It was
very, very safe.
beautiful.
It was gorgeous.
Watching the boats, the sailboats, and we were filming. And then, of course, you went to where all the shops and the food.
Now, I got to say, people, y'all told us life-changing events were going to happen when we
Life-changing.
had this beaver tail.
Yes, our lives will never be the same.
I thought it was like a piece of toast.
We were like, we spent how much for the beaver tail?
I don't
but
know.
we got it loaded. Now, conventional wisdom out there after the video was, it is fried dough and sugar and cinnamon, that's it.
Right.
If you start dumping peanut butter chocolate Reese's Pieces, which is the one we got, and any other crap on it, you're not going to experience the true nature of a beaver tail.
But I feel almost like I've had fried dough at a carnival.
Yeah.
It's the same thing.
Yeah.
Cinnamon and sugar.
And it was large.
Who cares?
but it's fried dough. I said, I
fried
closed
dough.
my eyes and I said, I feel like I'm at home eating peanut butter toast.
That being said,
Yeah.
we were on the ship by 6 p.m.
Yeah, we had a
and
rush.
we were at the supper
Yeah.
club because we had the supper club
We
that night.
barely
by
made it
7.
to the cabin, changed our clothes, and headed to the supper club.
Now, I have to say, speaking to excursions, that we hadn't planned any excursions because there really wasn't much
No.
available via the ship.
Right.
And that's normally how we book for wheelchair guests, except for a 3 to 5 hour bus
Yeah,
tour,
and
and we weren't interested.
No, because like the car, I cannot be on a bus for 3 to 5 hours. I
But
just can't.
that being said, every port we went to, I was very, very impressed that the local vendors, you could get a handicap accessible excursion for about the same price you'd pay on the ship.
right.
And they were available
Right.
then and there, and you could book. And,
Right.
and I would have done it, but we weren't interested.
Yeah.
And
We wanted to get in town.
I also have to say, even though people couldn't get off in a wheelchair on Bar Harbor, every single excursion they had was wheelchair accessible. So what I'm saying is, like, if you were in a walker or had a cane and you had mobility issues, or maybe you were able to bring your wheelchair, which I don't know
Carry
how
your
you would,
rollator.
right? You could access
Right.
accessible excursions. So I thought that was great. Let's talk a little bit about bad things.
Bad things. Well, the usual embarkation day and disembarkation day was the usual nightmare with the elevators.
But we're used to that.
That is normal.
And you have to expect
You
it.
must expect it. It is the way it is. Remember, the first and last day are the worst. Everyone's excited to get on. They're running around. They're in their own little world. People are just stopping short. They're not looking. That's what it is.
So I don't know what you mean when you wrote New York City Port Terminal luggage pickup.
Oh, that was a
Customs.
nightmare.
I have no idea what that is.
You lost.
Oh, you mean you're
Hold on.
talking about the end, because I was reading
Did you not lose me?
but I was reading about Embarkation Day, and no, I did not lose you. You took off on me. You took off on me. When I say, people, stay here, and I walk away, and 2 seconds later I go back and he's gone.
I was caught up in the circular vortex of people with the terminal agents screaming at everybody, keep moving, keep moving, keep moving, keep moving. And the whole, and I was like, I was rolling with the crowd. It was like this, circular vortex to get your luggage. Now, thankfully, Sherry, who is the general manager secretary, who pretty much was acting like our concierge, gave us priority disembarkation, gold luggage tags, so we could easily find our luggage. We got separated. He went off this way. I'll get the luggage. I just got to find the gold area. I got caught in the vortex. I ended up finding the gold area, but again, I couldn't get in there to get our luggage. And eventually, I turned, and there's Kevin. Were you with Chris and Jennifer?
I was
going,
furious.
like, I don't know where Frank is. I think he got kidnapped. Oh, my God. Where were you?
Now, the good thing about disembarkation, because you're making it sound like it's so horrible, but the good thing is they now have at the New York City port the facial recognition customs.
Right.
So you pretty much just walk up, look at it, and walk through.
Yeah.
But the problem with
There's
that
the problem.
is they don't tell you what you have to do,
Right.
and they kind of get irritated with you.
Right, so we had our luggage. We were headed toward the normal customs desks where the customs officers are, but there was no one in line. Nobody was going there. And then we had the low talker people going, come over here, come over. And we're like, okay, we're being beckoned by these two women, and they're like, you need to look into the thing. We're like, I'm sorry. Now, mind you, we're in the port terminal. It's enormous, echoey, lots of people grabbing their luggage, lots of noise.
I kept going, what?
And
what?
we're like,
what?
I'm sorry, what?
And then I got really pissed and I
It
screamed
was a scene out of Seinfeld,
I
the episode
screamed at her.
of the low talker.
Remember, I screamed
Yeah.
at her. I said, "You're a New Yorker, for God's sake! Speak up!"
Speak up. And she looked at us like, what? It's like, we don't know what you're saying, and we don't know what you want us to do. This is the first time we've encountered the...
Right, and I think it was the first day they had it, or the first
We're like, we
couple
don't know
of
what you
times.
want us to do.
Yeah.
And she was like, you need to just sit there and look straight ahead. Take your glasses off and look straight ahead. But we're like, I'm sorry, what? I'm sorry. We're like, what? Speak up.
Anyways, let's get to the good.
Bad part, I want to say, and not really, well, good for you, bad for us. I have 8 typed pages of Tales from the High Seas stories coming your way.
So let's talk about the good.
Okay, yeah, because there was lots of good, mostly good.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. Well, again, I said Sherry, who is the secretary to the general manager, pretty much acted as our personal concierge.
Yeah, she helped us with our reservations. She helped us
Yes.
with dinners, priority crew access, disembarkation, and gold priority
whatever
luggage
we
time. Whatever we
needed.
wanted, she was
Right,
there
and
for
it's
us.
funny because now we had not contacted NCL corporate.
No, NCL, you've lost that privilege.
Yeah, we had not contacted them. We normally do in the past, let them know we're on board. And the last couple of cruises, we're like, no, we're kind of blacklisted, so we don't call them. So from the port terminal to the ship, everybody was like, oh my God, Kevin and Frank from Cruising with Wheels. Oh my God, Kevin and Frank from Cruising with Wheels. And everybody, the cell phones.
I felt like I was embarrassed.
It's just everybody wanted us.
In a way.
It was wonderful to meet everybody, because that was the best part of the cruise, was to meet everybody who watches our videos, whether they're regular subscribers or not. But that was really fun. Even the people who were like this, like we'd be sitting someplace and we would see people going, like, and they were like kind of looking at us, and then finally one of them would go, are you YouTubers? Have we seen you? And we're like, well, yeah, we have a channel, Cruising with Wheels. I told you that was them. I told you that was them. And then we got to, again, meet more people. So the general manager, all the officers were like watching all of this play out, like on the first day, with people running up to us going, selfie, selfie, oh my God. And so they started coming over, and so of course we were handing our business card out. We're Kevin and Frank. We have a YouTube channel. We'll be filming on the ship.
Well,
and from then on.
And when we were it started with the port terminal and all the people that had come up to us wanting the selfies, and someone from the port terminal contacted the ship. That's why Cherry was there right away.
I'm sorry. And I was busy meeting people.
Right.
Again, people were busy getting the lowdown skinny on what's going on behind the scenes.
Yeah, and I had heard that, and it was something to the effect of, we have some VIPs. Why you haven't been notified? Why haven't you been notified? And it's our bad because we didn't call. But we don't want any special treatment. That's why we don't call anymore.
Right. So we're supposed to experience it like everyone else experiences, right. and not to get favored treatment. But the ship's officers and crew, from then on, everywhere we went, the general manager was there. Mm-hmm. The director, food and beverage director, food and beverage assistant director. Mm-hmm. Every officer, no matter where we went, whether it was every restaurant for dinner, breakfast, lunch, you know that your key card, wherever you go, is scanned, and boom, we were in the middle of and there they were.
So the second day we were invited to the VIP Haven party. Now this is something for the platinum and higher guests. We respectfully declined.
It was funny because Cherry
was. Isn't that going to be part of your tales?
Yes, but no, not really. I don't have that. Sherry, the secretary, she said, there's a VIP party you're invited to up in the Haven, and we immediately had that horrified look on our face, like this. We were like this, and she looked at us like, well, what's the matter? And we're like, I said, don't want to go to the Haven. No, thank you. And she's like, well, why not?
Everybody does. Yeah. And I'm like, no, and then we don't like the...
Kevin said, or asked the question.
No, I said, we don't, we have a problem with the we've had run-ins with the head concierge.
And then you asked, who's the head?
Oh, I didn't ask. She said,
No,
you
you
have
did.
a problem with
no,
Patrick?
you did. You said no. You said, who is the head concierge on board? And she said, oh, we have Patrick. And then you said, oh, Adrian's not head concierge? And she went, no, he's not. That's how it went down. Yeah, we were like, oh, but we didn't go anyways.
So anyways, every day we got chocolate-covered strawberries, fruit baskets, hors d'oeuvres, platters. I don't know why they need to know all
Champagne,
that.
wine, cheese. We actually had to tell Sherry, stop sending gifts. Stop. We're two people. We're never going to eat this stuff. It's going to sit here rotting. And I said, please stop. We appreciate it, but...
We want to thank Barbara, who...
she organized
the
cruise.
cruise. My head's going
she
crazy.
She organized the cruise critic meet and greet.
Meet and greet. It was a lovely time.
It really was. It was held in.
Thank you for doing that.
It was held in the District Brew House. We didn't sign up for it, and we went there just to kind of check it out and ask if we could just kind of film the area. And she was like, oh, "But you got to stay," and we're like, "Okay."
Now. We were invited as well to the complimentary brew house experience. If you get an invitation, because they randomly send invitations for this, I would say go and do it.
Yes.
There's free beer. It was very nice. You'll have a nice interaction.
It's like a free beer tasting.
And you'll have a nice interaction with the ship's officers.
Up close and personal, meeting the ship's officers. And of course, we were like, well, we don't drink beer. And of course, the food and beverage director came over and he pointed at Kevin.
Oh, he said, you don't drink beer. Cosmo, right?
Yeah, he was so funny. You no drink beer. Go. Get Cosmo for him.
Now, Derek and Greg, we have to say thank you. They gave us a $50 onboard credit.
I know. A free gift.
Didn't have to do that, guys, but thank you.
Thank you for participating in lowering our bill.
We loved doing karaoke at 5 o'clock somewhere. I love doing karaoke at 5 o'clock somewhere.
Yeah, we had a great time.
Derek also did.
Yes,
he was
we hung out with Derek and Gregory. Derek, of course, sang. We hung out with Gail and Kevin Parrish, and Gail also sang. David was also there. And
now, I will tell
it was
you
great.
that on board, for this type of cruise, we found that it's typically an older crowd.
Yeah.
But we would have to put ourselves in that category,
How sad that
I would
is.
say.
But yeah, it definitely was an older
At least
crowd.
The ship had great internet.
Yeah.
Not as great as the Bliss,
Yeah.
but
Plus
not
really
as
great.
bad as some of the ships
Right,
that we've been on.
right.
So it was right in the middle. So I would say, go ahead, get it. It's worth it.
Right.
Yeah, we really enjoyed hanging out with all of our new friends. Now, as far as disembarkation went, we were up at 6 a.m. The ship docked in New York City at 6:30 a.m. Again, we left from New York City and we came back to New York City. It was a round trip. We were out of our cabin by 8 a.m. and
usual.
off the ship by 8:30.
Yeah.
We got down to the second floor terminal via an elevator.
That was a nightmare.
Yeah.
We were like what? There were like how many people in line? We were 20th. We were the 20th wheelchair in line to the elevator to get to the lower level to get our luggage.
Now, this was in the port.
Right, this is a port terminal, and of course the terminal agent, she was like a freaking Nazi. She was screaming and yelling at
Get off your phone! Turn off your phone!
Phone's off. Stop talking. Keep going. Keep moving. Stop talking. It was like nobody was able to talk. Nobody. It was like the march of death. It was horrible.
Look up, eyes ahead.
And then once we got to the elevator doors, they had to stop taking people down because at the lower level there was a backup of people, and so they wanted them to keep moving before they were going to send the elevator back up. And I'm like, of course.
So we were down to the luggage area about 9 a.m. and it was a crazy mess. This is very, very interesting to me because this was the most disorganized I've ever been in the New York City terminal.
Yeah.
All the other times it's been a breeze, it's been wonderful, and I don't know why, if it's just for the escape that it's like this, or because this left from a different, it seemed like, did it leave from a different place than the gem?
No.
It all looked the same
It
to me.
all looked the same to me. But once we got outside and we had, of course, meet up with our car service from GroundLink.
That was a nightmare
Yeah.
because now they no longer allow you to be picked up curbside.
Right.
You have to cross 25 lanes of
two
traffic.
major lanes with a major medium in the middle. You got
Median.
median, thank you. A medium across the street where your car services or friends and family or whatever will pick you up.
But I have to say, GroundLink always amazes me. They're always great, and they found us. They picked
Yeah.
us up at 9:45, and we were at the airport by 10:30, and we had lunch at Shake Shack.
Shake Shack!
And unfortunately, we had 3 gate changes when we were at the airport,
Crazy.
but whatever. And our plane took off, we were boarded by 3 p.m. and our plane took off by 3:50, and we landed back in Rochester at 4:40.
Oh, thank God.
And we got our luggage by 5 p.m. and we were off.
That's right.
and
Kevin, go get the car. Let's load the luggage. Let's go pick up the puppies and get home.
We had the dogs by 6 o'clock. We were home, and then when we got home, Frank had the clothes sorted.
Yeah.
While I was doing the grocery
I'm
shopping.
like, okay, unzip.
Because of course we had nothing.
Sort.
And dinner was subs and a chip.
Right.
So how the mighty had fallen.
Yeah, and in bed by 10.
And in bed by 10. Where did I go get
So
subs?
goes.
Where did I go get
You went to
subs?
Wegmans.
Was it Wegmans or
Yeah.
did I get to Bella's?
No, you went to Wegmans.
Oh.
I know. Sad.
Shout out to Wegmans.
Yeah. DeBellas, we miss you.
We miss you, Dog.
Anyways, so that's it. That's our New England, Canada cruise aboard the NCL Escape.
We hope that you've gotten a little bit of tidbit of what it might be for you,
Right.
or what it might
And
not be
whatever
for you.
our
I don't know.
experience was helps you out in making your decision as to whether you're going to go and do a Canada New England.
We want to remind everybody that we are on, what are we on? Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat, as well as here on YouTube.
Make sure you're a regular subscriber. Click to subscribe. Click that bell to get regular notices. We post our videos every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday.
So there is our advertisement for today. We are currently working very hard to get our merchandise shop opened
Yes.
on Teespring. So maybe by the time this video comes out, it'll be out.
It'll
if
be
it's
live.
not, I don't
and you
know.
can order your Cruising with Wheels logo merchandise.
But until next time, we want to remind everybody to
Travel safe.
and cruise often.